All right, guys, what's up? Welcome back to the channel. Something new I'm trying here. This is something new. We're going to do a Game of Thrones live discussion. So, it's kind of sad that I waited until like the final season to even figure it out, come up with the idea of doing this. But yeah, anyway, so needless to say that I'm going to be talking about everything that happened in this episode. So if you guys don't want to be spoiled and you haven't seen the episode, I suggest you to go watch the episode and then come back. So yeah. So like the title says, Game of Thrones Season 8, Episode 2. This is a live discussion. It works like we normally do. You guys throw in questions, anything pertaining to tonight's episode. We'll talk about it. We'll discuss it. I will ask only that we keep it Game of Thrones related because this is the Game of Thrones live discussion and not a Avengers or something like this. This is strictly Game of Thrones. So, like I said, we're going to be very, very spoiler heavy on this one. I decided to try this live discussion to see how this goes for a couple reasons. One, I'm not really good at reviewing Game of Thrones because I just feel like I'm rambling out. I'm like, yeah, I like this, and and just rambling. And then two, my Game of Thrones reviews when I have tried them, they don't generate a lot of clicks. People don't come to my channel for Game of Thrones stuff. So anyway, episode was great, man. I love tonight's episode a lot. I thought I liked last week's episode a lot, and then this episode, I'm not even gonna lie to you guys. After I get done streaming, I'm gonna go watch it again. The only thing that sucks is that as I was watching it, I was staring at the clock. I'm like, man, it's 9:30, or it's 9:30. That means we're getting, closer to the ending, and it sucks. But great episode. Next week is gonna be the giant battle in Winterfell. And, man, I'm telling you, like, 70 to 80% of the cast is going to die. But, hey, man, I love this episode a lot. No. Well, I heard, like, the first couple episodes going to be an hour long. And then, like, the last 3 or so are going to be more like an hour and a half long, hour 20 minutes. But, yeah, I love this episode. It was it was a slow-paced episode. But it was so good because we got to see what I liked so much about last week's episode was we got to see these characters interaction, right? We got to see these characters reunite and talk about the journey they've been on for the past 8 years. And we got more of that in this episode, and it really kind of flushed it out more. I'm glad they did this episode because I didn't want it to be like, they all reunite last week, and then next thing you know, everybody's dying this week. I didn't want that. I wanted them to reunite, to discuss. I love the idea of all of them sitting around the fireplace, just drinking and talking about it. Like, Tyrion's like, the battle of, Blackwater, and he survived the battle of the bastards, and like just kind of recapping everybody's history. And you really kind of go on this mental journey in your own head. Like, man, it's been a long couple years, or 8 years. It's been a long journey. And then I love the way they opened this episode up with Jaime just in front of everybody. And sometimes I wish I was in the show so I could slap some sense into some of these people, because so many people are like, they let the throne get to their head. Like, man, I want absolute power, and like, they don't stop and they don't think, man. And like Jamie's like, look, I'm trying to explain something to you guys, right? And all they can say is, well, you killed my father because you're the Kingslayer, blah 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 blah. But it's funny how Dany doesn't bring up the fact that her father wanted to burn down King's Landing with fucking wildfire. Like, she left that detail out, right? She left that fucking detail out. She wants to sit there and ridicule Jaime for killing the king and sitting on his throne while the king died, but she completely let out the fact that she killed Ned Stark's father and brother. Like, her father burned them alive, and then he wanted to fucking burn down King's Landing with wildfire, But she lets that go, but completely wants to ridicule, Jaime for what he did. You know, it's like sometimes Dany drives me nuts. Sometimes she drives me just like when her and Sansa are at the table, right? I'm like, finally, these two bitches are finally starting to talk and get things worked out. And then Sansa's like, well, what happens to the North? Well, I'm going to take the throne. And then like, but we promised we weren't going to. Like, who gives a shit? You literally have 100,000 zombies coming at you, right? Like, Rick Grimes was shit if he saw a fucking herd that big coming toward, you know, his landing and thing. And these two girls, these two ladies, are sitting there bitching about who's going to bend the knee to who gives a fuck? Like, survive first. You know, fucking survive, then worry about who's fucking sucking who's wiener and who's kneeling to who. Like, who gives a shit? I don't. I love the politics in Game of Thrones, but sometimes it drives me fucking insane. Just like the way this episode ended with you know, her coming down to the crypt to see Jon, and Jon's like, you know, this, and I'm the bastard's son, but wasn't really a bastard because they were married. And then what's the like instead of Dany saying anything encouraging, the first thing that comes to her is like, well, who told you this? And he's like, you know, well, Bran can kind of see the future, and you know, was Sam read it in the fucking book and whatnot, and the first thing that comes to her mind is, well, that means you're the natural heir. Like, all she gives a fuck is about the goddamn throne. You literally have 100,000 zombies coming at your ass, fucking Daenerys, and all you fucking care about is that fucking stupid ass Iron Throne. Like, I wish the fucking Night King would just fly to fucking King's Landing and blow that goddamn thing up, because they allow them. They're so fucking stupid. I swear. It's like, the reason why Jon is such a good leader is because Jon doesn't want to be the knight, or doesn't want to be the king. The reason why Jon's such a good leader is because Jon doesn't want to be a leader. Like Jon only cares about surviving and everybody living. That's all he cares about, right? But no, you have Cersei's dumbass and Dany's dumbass, and all they care about is that goddamn chair. That's all. That's all they care about, is that goddamn chair. So, anyway, you guys can start throwing in questions about tonight's episode. We can start discussing it all at any time. That way I'm not completely rambling on for an hour or however long I stream. So you guys can start firing questions. Just put at RobertStorms84 so I can pick out the questions and whatnot. But, yeah, I mean, I'll tell you one scene that did get me, though. Got me teary-eyed. Was when, what's his name? Theon showed up. When Theon showed up back in Winterfell and Sansa got all teary-eyed and I got all teary-eyed, I was like, fuck me, man. But yeah, I think Theon's redemption and Jaime's redemption have really been the pillar of the show when it comes to character story arcs. But yeah, just sometimes Dany completely gets me upset, man. All right, so T Skywalker, or Taya Skywalker, do you think that the chair will be there when it's all said and done? I don't know, man. Like I was saying, right? I think the chair is so meaningless, man. You look at the overarching story, right? Like yes, they have the politics and whatnot, but the overarching story. See, Game of Thrones presented itself as like this political, you know, cutthroat Game of Thrones. You know, everybody wants a damn chair, and everybody's killing themselves for the chair. It was not a filler episode. Sorry, Patrick, it was not a filler episode. But at the heart of the show was a fantasy show. It's a fantasy genre with these fucking giant ass fucking ice zombies coming, right? And I think the chair is meaningless. I would love it if the Night King, because you know he has one of Dany's dragons, while the war in Winterfell is going on, I would love it that the Night King is like, you know what, you guys go take care of Winterfell. I'm going to take a detour, and I'm going to go blow up King's Landing. That's what I would love. I would love to see that happen. I would absolutely love to see that. Will that chair still be there when everything's all said and done? I don't know. I think it will be, but I personally say I hope not. I absolutely hope not. I want to see that chair gone. I want to see like almost like I want the Seven Kingdoms to be free. I don't want there to be like this one almighty ruler. And I think that's the problem with this whole thing. Is like there's got to be one almighty ruler. Why? Why? Why can't you just divide the seven kingdoms into 7 kingdoms and let there be 7 rulers for each kingdom? Why? I mean, that's gonna cause war too. But whatever. All right, let's see what else we got here. Andrew S. Do you like Tyrion? He reminds me of you. Tyrion is my favorite character, man. Tyrion is my favorite character. Because the dude's smart. The dude's fucking brilliant, man. Like I can literally sit down and watch a 2-hour episode of Tyrion and Varys just talking for 2 hours. I'll be sitting there with my cup of coffee, just cheesing, grinning. Like you two motherfuckers talk, man. You talk. You know what? I'm thinking about shaving, right? Shaving, and then cosplaying as Varys. What do you think? It could work, man. It could work. But yeah, Tyrion is one of my favorite characters. Taya Skywalker writes at Robert Storms. Hey, can't blow up King's Landing yet. We meet a personal kill on Cersei. Dude, I always thought in the way like 2 years ago, people were predicting like, why wouldn't Jaime just kill her? Like, why wouldn't Jaime just kill her, man? All he has to do, like, he's the Kingslayer, right? Why can't he be the Queenslayer? Like, he killed, the Mad King because the Mad King wanted to blow up King's Landing with wildfire, right? So what's Cersei do? She blows up the fucking scepter, or the scepter, with, not the scepter, but, the sanctuary thing, with fucking wildfire. So why can't Jaime just kill her? That's what I want to see. I want to see Jaime kill her. So I don't know. I honestly don't know where the second half of this series is going. Because we have the Battle of Winterfell next week. That's basically the first half of the season. That's gonna be one episode. I don't know if it's an extended episode or not. And then whatever happens at the end of that episode, either the dead win and they march to King's Landing, or whatever's left in Winterfell wins. Then they're gonna have Cersei's army, the Golden Company, and the Ironborn marching up. So I don't know. If I had to choose right now, I would like to see. I don't want to see my characters die. I love my characters, but just so Cersei gets what's coming to her, I would love to see the dead just fucking win and just march down south and just fucking light King's Landing on fire. That's what I want to see. I hate to think that Cersei's going to get the upper hand. I hate to think it. But there's also been talks that Bran is the Night King. Like, I don't know if you guys remember that theory, but, that's a whole shit and caboodle right there. Let's get into another question here. I can't pronounce your name. Karan McKenna? Robert Storms 84. Do you think Arya will take Jaime's face and kill Cersei? I never thought of that. But why would she take Jaime's face, though? Because basically right now, why would she take Jaime's face? I don't understand that. I understand that you think, well, probably to get one up on Cersei because she still loves Jaime, right? However, let's not forget, last episode, she went up to Bronn, or she sent, her maester up to Bronn and say, hey, I want you to kill Tyrion and Jaime. So she wants Jaime dead. And in her eyes, he betrayed her. So I don't know why putting on his face would make a difference. But, I wouldn't put it past it. I think it would be kind of poetic. So we'll just have to wait and see. Gus Webb writes at Robert Storms. Which Stark kid will not survive at the end of the season besides Jon? I don't understand why you're saying besides Jon. Jon could very easily die. very easily die in this next episode. I don't think. See, you can't apply other shows to Game of Thrones, right? Everybody's like, well, they got that plot armor on, so they can't die. Why not? All the main people know now. Oh, sorry, 1 second. All the people, all the important people pretty much know Jon's heritage now. They all know that Jon is a true Targaryen now. So Jon's story, for the most part, is complete. He got everybody together to defend the North against the dead. He found out the truth about his birth and his family. He told Dany. So at this point, his story is kind of complete. Jon can very much easily die in the next episode, and it won't change really much of anything. So I think Jon could very possibly die in the next episode. I do not be shocked if, in fact, he does die in the next episode. I don't want him to die, but I do think Jon can die now. But by Dany now knowing the secret, that he could possibly die. But now it's gonna be maybe he survives, so they can figure out what the conflict's gonna be between him and Dany. But I think the showrunner wanted to put that in our heads that there's gonna be conflict, meaning that one of them is gonna survive or both of them are gonna survive. We don't even know if Dany's gonna survive. We don't know. We don't know any of these characters are gonna survive. Next week, grab your popcorn. We don't know who's coming and who's dying in next week's episode. So, anyway, what else we got here? What we got here? Simple Simon writes at Robert Storms. Jon got to get a dragon though. Jon could get, he could ride one of those dragons. And for all we know, Dany could be on one dragon, Jon could be on the other one, and they just fucking nuke it. Like, I don't understand why they didn't do that. I understand Night King has the one dragon, but you think Jon and... Oh, sorry, guys. You think Jon and Dany would be like, all right, this is what we're going to do. We're going to fake them in with our army, right? And then we're going to get on our two dragons, and we're going to go around them and flank them from behind. Like, I would have done that. Like we're just going to fire everybody. They're all fucking dead. That's what I would do. Yeah, who knows? What else we got here? DP, the producer, writes, do you think all the dragons will die? I hope not, man. I hope not. I hope they don't kill the dragons. I like the idea of the dragons, but we don't know where. I don't know where the story is going. I pretty much predict everything that's going to happen up until the Battle of Winterfell, but what happens after the Battle of Winterfell, I'm not sure. Because Dany's going to have a real hard time winning the war against Cersei if she ain't got no more dragons. You know what I mean? So maybe she knows that. Maybe that's why she has her dragons put away. So they can't be killed by the Night King in turn, so she can use them against Cersei. For all we know, she sent her dragons after Cersei. So wouldn't that be something? Huh? If while the Battle of Winterfell is happening, Dany sends her dragons to go take out Cersei. So there is no army coming up. So that'll be kind of funny. People send me stuff while I'm streaming. I'm sitting there live streaming. People send me stuff. Like, why are you messaging me while I'm streaming? Yeah. So Andrew S. writes, do you think the battle is happening too early in the season? Because there's still going to be 3 episodes after next week. No, it's happening right in the smack dab in the middle of the season. There's only 6 episodes this season. That episode, it has to be. Andrew, I don't understand why you would think that, because just because there's 2 battles happening this season, okay? Or 2 that we predict is going to happen. You have Dany and Jon, and everybody in Winterfell has got to fight the dead. And let's not forget, like Jaime said, the Golden Company and the Greyjoy. What the fuck is his stupid name, man? I always forget that motherfucker's name. But they're coming right up the ass. They're heading north. You got the Nice King and the Army of the Dead coming south, and then you got the Golden Company and the Greyjoys going north. So right in the middle is our characters, our favorite characters, all gonna be sandwiched to fuck. Now maybe, the Golden Company gets there early and helps them, but I have a feeling they're gonna set it up. We're gonna have the battle. Whatever happens, happens. And then the next 3 episodes is going to be set up to whatever happens with the actual throne. So, yeah, I mean, it's crazy. Euron Greyjoy. I always get that motherfucker name, like I have it at the tip of my... You ever have that on the tip of your tongue, and then you can't comprehend what it is? It's like, oh, what's his fucking name? What's his name? Oh, Euron. Euron. I'm not on. Euron. Cyborg Man, how though? How do they forgive Jaime Lannister for all that he has done? What the fuck? Very simple. Very simple. Like what we mean all that Jaime has done. There are people that have done a lot worse. Let's not forget, the Hound is working with him. The Hound has done 10 times worse than Jaime. 10 times worse than Jaime. What did Jaime do that was so bad? Okay, he pushed the kid out of the window. Let's be fair, guys. Bran's annoying. You see how he stares at everybody? I mean, if you guys would have had the chance, you probably would have pushed him out of the fucking window too. And not only that, what did he do? He fought Ned Stark, and big deal. Like he said, though, it was war. It's what you do during war. He was true. He was faithful to his house. That's the way it is in war. Let's not forget, in season 2, Tyrion killed Sir Davos' son at the Battle of Blackwater. And these 2 are having drinks together in front of the fireplace. So you can't sit there and say, how can they sit there and forgive Jaime? There's this thing called character development. Okay? He killed the Mad King because the Mad King wanted to blow up King's Landing and kill his father. Okay? He had no other choice. Sure, pushing the kid out of the window, that's kind of low, but he made up for it since then. Him and I think Theon had some of the best character arc throughout Game of Thrones. That they showed the most character development. They're completely different characters than when they were when they first started the series. So, yeah. What else we got here? Michael Smith. Were you shocked when Dany only cared about Jon's claim to the throne over finding out she's been sleeping with her nephew? Okay, so yes, I was shocked that that's all she cared about, but I'm not shocked that she didn't care about the incest thing because the Targaryens slept with their siblings and slept with their relatives for generations. That's how they kept the Targaryen blood pure, was by sleeping with each other and producing with each other. That's why you had a lot of Targaryens that were fucking nuts like the Mad King, you know? So, no, I'm not surprised that she didn't think about that because, I mean, fuck, Jaime's fucking his sister, and let's be honest, like I said, the Targaryens were known for that. The Targaryens done it for generations. But I am a little shocked at the way she was so quick to be like, well, don't you think that's a little convenient that your friend and your brother, like she did that a lot, man. She did that a lot in this episode. Just like when Jaime showed up and she's like, well, isn't it convenient that you believe your brother, and don't you think it's convenient that your sister did this but she's doing this and you didn't like catch on to that, like she always does that. Like she throws out like don't you think it's convenient that it's your brother? It's like, man, are you salty that you don't have no family members around right now? Because you know what, your brother died was kind of your fault, even though he was a complete dickhead. But it really bugged me about Dany in this episode, man, because and I don't know if they're doing this on purpose, but it makes her look like she's a power hungry bitch and she doesn't give a shit about nothing. Like she'll have maybe they're foreshadowing that she's gonna be like her father and she's just gonna completely turn fucking batshit crazy and be the Mad Queen, because she did fucking barbecue Sam's brother and father, you know, and it just seems like all she cares about is the throne. Like Sansa's like, you know, trying to talk to her, and next thing you know, it's like, oh, I want the throne, and then they quickly, like, you know, break off, and there goes that. So, I don't know, man. Dany kind of bothered me a little bit in this episode. Every time I think her character is going to this one direction where she's kind-hearted and stuff, she does a right turn, like a hard right turn. Next you know, she's back to being a bitchy bitch who cares only about a fucking chair in King's Landing. That's right, Scott. Power hungry bitch. What else we got here, guys? Apex coming in. Or the Night King is actually going to get with Dany when she crosses the living and take over together. He does have a crown on his head, and the series is called Song of Ice and Fire. Yeah, the series is called the Song of Ice and Fire. But is it the Song of Ice and Fire because there's a couple reasons why it's called the Song of Ice and Fire. One, you have her and her dragons that are fire going against the army of the dead, which is ice. Or Jon, which is pretty much both fire and she's ice. Or because there was actually talk that there might be a scenario where the dead win, go to King's Landing, and Cersei becomes the Night King's queen. So, I mean, hey, man, that could happen too. So, look, as fucking power hungry she is right now, I wouldn't put it past her that she would try to make a bargain and be like, hey, man, I'll suck your ice dick if you fucking give me the Iron Throne. I wouldn't be surprised. Would not be surprised one bit. The Fresco writes, who you think is dying in the next episode? 80% of everybody. So you have the entire cast of Winterfell. 80% of them are dying. I'm telling you that right now. I remember back when I used to watch Walking Dead, and they were setting up in season 3 the prison arc. And if you read the comic, when the governor invades the prison, it's brutal, man. It's brutal. Like majority everybody dies, right? I remember I kept telling everybody, I'm like, man, season finale, dude, like 80% of the people are gonna die. I'm like, I hope you don't have no favorite character because 80% are gonna die, right? Game of Thrones is gonna live up to that. There's no way more than 80% of people or less than 80% of people are gonna not die. There's no way. Like everybody in the front lines are gonna be fucking toast. I'm really curious to see how the Dragon Glass is gonna work for them, because this morning I rewatched Hardhome, the episode where Jon went up to Hardhome to get the wildlings, and they did a pretty good fight, man, without Dragon Glass. You know, I mean, they just had a couple people with Valyrian steel and a couple Dragon Glass, and you've seen where they plastered Dragon Glass on everything in Winterfell. So I'm kind of curious to see how they're gonna handle themselves. But yeah, just I'm really curious to see what's going to happen. Maybe it'll be a different outcome. But the rumor was they spent like 58 days filming this episode. And if you guys don't know, there's movies that film in about that time. Like most movies only have like a 2-month filming window. This one episode took 2 months to film. So yeah, just keep that in mind when you're watching next week's episode. All right, guys, I'm going to take a couple more questions, and then I'm going to wrap it up until next week. And seeing the giant response, I definitely think this is going to be something I keep going. I definitely like the amount of people that came out to check out this stream. Let's see if I can find another question. I don't see another question. Oh. I'll give you guys time to write another question. But and yeah, like you said, what's your name? Night. But yeah, Song of Ice and Fire could also be Jon's mother and father. That's possible too. So, But yeah, so I mean, I like the episode a lot. I'm actually gonna go ahead and rewatch it here as soon as I get done streaming because I thought it was a fantastic episode. So, but all right, so we got another question coming in, and I'll take a couple more after this, so you guys can fire them in, and then we'll call it a night. Taya Skywalker writes, Robert Storms 84, what is your ending prediction? Well, if you asked me a year ago, my prediction was going to be that Bran was the Night King, and he just kind of keeps going back in the past trying to fix things, and he just can't fix things, and he keeps on fucking up, because there was rumors that Bran was all the different brands in the timeline. He's in fact Bran the Builder and stuff, and that might still end up being the case. I don't know. That might still end up being the case. It might not be the case. I'm not entirely sure on that one, but that's what my prediction was. If you asked me a year ago, now from the way it looks, it's like, why is the Night King wanting to hunt Bran so much? He wants the long night. He doesn't want no one to exist, no one to last forever. But yeah. So if I had to predict still, I would love to see that Bran thing come, because I think it was so crazy and no one would expect it. You know what I mean? Like, can you imagine people who aren't big fantasy fans, to be sitting there and be like, what? Bran was all the fucking Brans in the timeline? He was Bran the Builder? What? He's the Night King? What? Something like that. I think it would be like batshit crazy. I would love to see it. All right, Andrew S., do you like the theory that Bran is the Night King? Yeah, I was just talking about that. I like that theory a lot, and I would love to see that theory come true, because I want to see something that's just going to shock people. And then the last question I'll take is from Dion Mills, who writes, what do you think Cersei was doing in this episode? I don't know. Who gives a fuck? I'm over Cersei. I know a lot of people love Cersei. They're like, oh, I love Cersei. She has such a great character development, blah, blah, blah. Cersei drives me nuts. She drove me nuts ever since she was captured by the High Scepter, or what was that? Them holy people. What the fuck were they? Thank you. Yeah, the Sparrow guy. She drove me nuts ever since then. So I was just like, yeah, I'm over her. I wish she would have died 2 seasons ago. I really did. I wish Jaime just would have went behind her and just right in the back. I would have loved it. But anyway, just that's my thought. So thank you everybody for coming out, checking out the live stream, checking out the discussion. Definitely successful, I think. I had a lot of people come out and check it. But yeah, I'll definitely catch you guys again next Sunday. I'll be doing another live stream because I think it was very successful. So thank you guys so very much for coming out. Now, if you excuse me, I have an episode I'm about to go rewatch. Until next time, everybody, as always, I'm Robert Storms, and that's my opinion.